Hello and welcome again to the Ink Nouveau, the essence of writing passion. My name is Brian Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company, and I want to share with you today on today's video blog about the Clairefontaine Staplebound notebooks. Some of you might have some of you might not. You may have heard of Clairefontaine, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what they are and what the Staplebound products are like. These are some of the more popular notebooks for fountain pen users. There's several different types of Staplebounds. I'm going to cover 5 different sizes today. So that'll give you a good idea of the different sizes and maybe some of the options you have for ruling and stuff like that. So I guess we'll just get right to it then. So we go from the 3 by 4 inch, which the metric is, you can see on the back, 7.5 by 12 centimeter. The next size up is 3.5 by 4.5 inch, and that's a 9 by 14 centimeter. We got 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and that's 11 by 17 centimeters. Next one up, 6 3/4 by 8 5/8, and that's 16.5 by 21 centimeters. And then last but not least, the 8 1/4 by 11 3/4. Or 21 by 29.7 centimeter. So I'll go through each one here and show you what it's like, and I can kind of compare them to each other. The one that I prefer for my kind of daily carry around is the little guy, the 3 by 4. I keep it in my pocket all the time. You can see it just fits nicely right into my pocket. So often if you see me recording these blogs and I've got this little guy sticking in there, that's what I do. I use it for little lists, you know, to-dos, things like that, scratching, you know, just kind of scribbling around with the pen, you know, Office Max, need bubble wrap, stuff like that, you know, so that's what I use it for, just as kind of little to-do list and quick notes and stuff like that. So I'm going to get you set up here, and I'll go over each one of these notebooks. We'll start off with the little guy. I'll start off with the 3 by 4, because that's the cheapest. This is a 3 by 4. It comes with 48 pages or 24 sheets. Generally you say sheets when you refer to one of these. It's called 48 pages because you can write on the front and back. The paper in these things is 90 gram paper weight, which is a nice heavy weight, so it's not going to bleed through onto the other side. I want to show you an example of what bleed through really is. I have a Mead composition notebook here, which I was using before I got into the Clairefontaine stuff. But as soon as I started using a fountain pen, it was very obvious that these things were not going to work. So I'll just give you a little demonstration here of what is going on with these Mead composition notebooks. And if you want to see what bleed through really is, okay, well, I spelled that wrong, but that's nothing unusual. Okay, bleed through. Okay, so the feathering is not actually too bad on this paper, but if you look, if you can see right here, you can actually see the line protruding past the ink. That's a telltale sign of a lesser quality notebook. It's something that other Meads have had a problem with the fountain pens, and if you flip on the other side, you can see you know, right over here, and actually this pen's not as bad as some of the other ones I've done. I'm going to draw a nice thick line so you can see maybe what bleed through is really like, and especially if you leave the pen on there for a second. I'll show you. Yeah, you can see it just protrudes through the other side, and I've actually had certain inks that when I've used it have bled through so bad that they actually show up on the next page. You can even see it right there just a little bit. It bled through the page so bad that it showed up. And if you were trying to write something else here, I mean, just forget it, because you'd be competing with whatever is behind it, and you just can't read it. So yeah, you're paying, you know, maybe 50 cents for one of these things, but it's cheaply made. Does not take a fountain pen well at all. You can't read what you're trying to do, and it's just junk. So enough of that. But anyway, the Clairefontaine, which I'll show you my personal one, when you write on these guys, you can actually use both sides when you get to a blank page. So if you want to see, I'll do the same thing, bleed through, and then a nice thick line, and I'll let you see the difference. You can feel the difference when you're writing, but if you look at that, you can see it a tiny bit, but if you're writing something on the other page, you can still see it. So you're not really competing as much with what's going on in the background. It's certainly not going to bleed through, and it certainly doesn't bleed through to the other page. Oh, you can see it was a little wet when I closed it. This paper does tend to take a little longer to dry with the ink. You can see a good example right there. I didn't let the ink dry long enough, and I closed it onto the next page, and I got a little bit of stuff on the previous page. So that's a consideration you need to make when you need to take when you're using some of these fine papers. It will take the ink, and it won't feather and won't bleed through, but it can you know, go onto the other page like that if you're not careful. So anyway, so you got the 3x4. It comes lined. Lined is the only option that you have with this size, and I'm going to show you. I got a digital caliper here. These guys, 7-inch, right, or 7mm, right about 7mm. This caliper goes to the 100th of a millimeter, so that's pretty darn small. So it's right about 7mm. Okay, and that's the same for the lined ruling on this size, all the way up through this size. The only one that's different is the large guy, the A4 size. This one has, if I can get it right, 8mm right there. So you're going to get little fewer lines per page ratio with these larger notebooks. That's generally how it goes. A lot of notebooks, if you get smaller ones and larger ones, the larger ones will have larger rulings and the smaller ones will have smaller rulings. So anyway, that is the little guy. So he comes ruled only, 24 sheets, and generally retails for about $2.75 in the US. The next guy up, he's twice as thick, 48 sheets, which gives you 96 pages. 3.5 by 4.5 inches, 48 sheets, same ruling, same 90-gram weight paper. It's the exact same paper that's in all the rest of the Staplebounds here, and this one retails for about $3. The next guy up, 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, 48 sheets again, 96 pages, same ruling, same kind of stuff. The covers on these are pretty good too. You saw the one that I had earlier, and it gets pretty beat up. That one retails for $3.50. This guy, 6 3/4 by 8 5/8. I gotta zoom back here because it's so big. Okay. So this guy's a little bit bigger, and yeah, we got some French ruled going on here. For those of you who've never seen French ruled, I'm not going to get all into French ruled right now and the measurements and stuff like that. But for those of you who've never seen French ruled, that is crazy. Just look at that. Look at all those lines. Isn't that just nuts? So anyway, these guys retail for about $3.50 as well. 48 sheets, 96 pages. And then the big guy, the A4. Oh, sorry, this size. This comes ruled with margin and French ruled. The ruled with margin is the same as the ruled that's in these other notebooks, but it's got the red line there, like you'll see in the bigger one. And then the big one comes ruled with margin, which is the margin you see right here. That's what the Americans are kind of used to. The French ruled, and it also comes in graph as well, if graph is your thing. So this one, the ruled with margin, comes with 40 sheets. If you can see that on there, 80 pages. I'm not sure why this one comes with 40 sheets, and the French ruled and the graph one comes with 48 sheets. Same price, retails for about $6. So anyway, there you have it. There are other sizes that you can get. but they're not as common. These are kind of the more common sizes, and this is what I have on hand, so that's what I reviewed. If you have any questions, email me, brian@gouletpens.com, or just post here on the Ink Nouveau. And the Fountain Pen Network is also a great place to learn more about this stuff. All of the Clairefontaine paper is all acid-free, pH neutral, archival quality. Great stuff for fountain pens. It's going to last a long time, and it's all PEFC certified, so it's environmentally harvested and things like that. All the trees are replanted once they're grown, and the plant in France where they manufacture the paper is really environmentally conscious and all that stuff. So it's another consideration. So anyway, that is it for the Clairefontaine Staplebounds. Let me know if you have any other questions. It was great to see you again, and I hope to do lots more of this kind of stuff and review some products for you. And I will see you around.